Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Luis Magalong and welcome to the Moving Beyond Crisis Series Part 14. Grabe, no? Naka-Part 14 na tayo, no? Paano ba to? Binabago na po natin na hindi siya part, naging episode na po siya, no? Paano na po siya mga K-dramas natin, no? But welcome. Thank you. If this is the first time is this their first time joining us, maraming salamat po sa inyong panahon. Thank you for allowing us to have your time. Okay, this afternoon, this Tuesday afternoon. And muli, dun sa mga po madalas na nakakasama po namin, nakakasama natin, no? To those of you who've been joining us since very previous episodes, thank you. Okay, salamat po. At like I always say, mahal po namin kayo. Salamat po sa suporta. But I hope this training has been helpful to you. And if it's helping you, I'm not hoping. I'm encouraging you to support our Burden to Breakthrough. Bakit po namin siya ginagawa? It's because for the Burden to Breakthrough. This Burden to Breakthrough, just a short story. This Burden to Breakthrough was created, I think, entering the 4th week of March, wherein we thought about how can we really bridge the gap in helping the frontliners, or how can we be a contribution to the country. So we came up by understanding, baka we can do this. We can provide swab booths. Okay, so we sought friends because we have friends who create swab booths. That's why we came up with this. So we've been supporting, or we've been helping by providing PPEs. But this time, we provided swab booths. If I'll show you in the pictures later kung sino po yung hospital na padalhan na po natin. So I'm happy. This is a communal effort. So if this is your first time, the Moving Beyond Crisis series is dedicated naman po para po sa inyo, to those people following us, to those people who are watching. And then when we created the Moving Beyond Crisis, para po yun doon sa mga families na nagsistay at home, sa mga tulad natin na nasa bahay. Okay, so yun po yung intention talaga ng Moving Beyond Crisis, para po ma-encourage po tayo that where can we draw hope. And then based on the feedback, I'm nakakataba po ng puso, no? Dahil marami po yung sumusupport sa atin. So kasama na po dyan yung participating group natin who always been with us, PPA, yung Philippine Ports Authority. Okay, if you're from PPA, click like, click heart, please. Shout out naman dyan so that we can acknowledge you. Okay, kung saang area po tayo or saan branch po tayo. And also, we have a bulk, as always. Salamat po sa ating mga guro na patuloy na sumusubaybay. Yan. Magandang tawagin na sumusubaybay. Thank you for helping. Helping, no? Of course, helping for the Burden to Breakthrough. But thank you dahil lagi po kayong nandyan to watch and learn. Salamat po sa inyong presence. I hope this learning has been helpful to you. We have featured the best speakers in the country and they're giving it for free para sa atin so as we can really move our Burden to Breakthrough campaign. Similarly, with their heart, I would like to acknowledge this person, sila Mr. Prudy Verso, Mr. Al Ian Barcelona. Oh, Sir Ian, I hope you're getting well. He's confined in the hospital. We're praying for you. I hope you get well soon. Thank you also to Mr. Cleve de la Calzada, Ms. Jenny Magalong, Mr. PJ Lanot, Mr. Joel Elio, Mr. RD Abelio, Mr. Joel Cruz, Mr. Grade Mabuti, Ms. Michelle Padrilan, Mr. Efren Cruz, Ms. Appleman Ansala last week, and Mr. George Maniki. Okay, so sila po yung mga speakers na nagbigay ng oras para po sa atin. Okay, para po sa inyo. Okay, so since we've been offering this together with our hearts, with you, and our passion, I'm hoping that you would support the Burden to Break, like I mentioned. Okay, by two things. You can first give. Okay, I'll show you the picture. So para po makita nyo po ang ating official. Okay, yan. Okay, the Burden to Breakthrough. Okay, we protect as one against COVID-19. These are on the pictures. You can see our swab booths as we provide swab booths and PPEs to our frontliners. And ito po ang ating yung mga itsura ng ating mga speakers, ito mga upcoming speakers that we've invited. And today we'll have, okay, yan, nandiyan po yung speaker natin for today. Also, okay, for donation options, okay, you can get in touch with us with the numbers on your screen. Kindly call, SMS, or email us so that we can guide you for if you prefer other donation options. Okay, ito po yung pinagdalhan po natin ng swab booths natin recently, ang Amang Rodriguez Memorial Medical Center. We have coordinated and we have sent these swab booths, okay, courtesy of the people who are behind this. Thank you to Elevation, AIB, PEME, Magalong Talks, and Icon Graphics. Okay, thank you also to our recent sponsors, Ms. Richelle Mercado, Rems D. Tiangkin, Mario Masilang, Wena Reyes, Arnie Season, Jennifer Musqueda, Afi Abrigana, Joey Tan. Alright, so yan po ang ating mga pictures. Okay, so we send them. Alright, okay, as we continue, okay, as I proceed, because of doing that, we are also doing master classes. Ito po yung mga trainings natin. Of course, tulungan nyo rin po kami mag-improve by allowing us to offer you our master classes. These are learnings, okay, learnings that we provide. These are online education and courses that we provide with certifications. We also provide the individual lessons, coaching, and consultation. Okay? So ayan po ang ating master classes. These are recorded training modules. We also do the online-based training workshop and the office record training. Yun po yung pumunta kami sa offices to train you. As we always say, vertical parallel, we bridge you to success. And because of that, we also have our transformational leadership, which will be done on August 4 to 6, 2020 by Mr. R.D. Abelio. He's an executive coach, certified John Maxwell trainer, leadership performance coach, member of the American Society of Training and Development. We also have Building Confidence in Speaking, the Power of You, Audience, and Power of Presentation on July 23 to 24. Also, okay, we also have this, yan, promo para po dun sa Building Confidence in Speaking. To register, may promo po kami, yan po, 3+1, register 3 and get one free slot. Okay, to know more about this, please visit our page, Vertical Parallel Asia. Okay. Also, yan, please like, follow, and subscribe. Meron na po kami. Just a few days ago, we created the YouTube. Okay, para po yan, the Moving Beyond Crisis series parts, yung mga past parts natin, past part 1 to, I think 1 to 8, we've uploaded in the YouTube. Please, paki-subscribe naman po. No? Mukhang marami na eh. Dalawa na nag-subscribe. No? Pakidagdagan naman po. All right, so we are also available in Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. All right, also, next Friday, this coming Friday, as we continue our Moving Beyond Crisis series, part 15, we will have again Mr. Joel Elio who will talk about managing stress to cope up with the crisis. Yan po, bago po yung time slot natin, 6 p.m. No? Medyo inusog lang po natin. No? So 6 p.m. Okay, kay Mr. Joel Elio, managing stress to cope up with the crisis. And, okay, and today, okay, I would like to introduce our speaker, okay? Teka, lalabas lang muna ako sa screen kasi hindi niyo ako nakikita. Iyan. Ay, sorry. Okay, so nakikita ko po sa mga, ayan, naghahayo. Please do post. Okay, I want to see your names here. Ayan. Please do a shout out para ma-acknowledge ko po kayo. Hello, Miss Annie, okay, Miss Marmita, Miss Ornum, Miss Apple. Okay, thank you for your time. Okay, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your presence. If you know somebody would benefit from this, please tag them. Or probably you can host a watch party para po bahagi niyo po sa kanila. But again, please click. Gusto ko po makita maraming heart. Yung ganun, click heart, di ba? Heart, like, di ba? Para naman po maramdaman ko po ang iyong presence. So again, as I introduce our speaker this afternoon, he is okay, hindi ko na po kailangan. Actually, kabisado ko na po yun. He is the president, co-founder of Breakthrough Leadership Management and Consultancy Incorporated. He is also the chief equipping officer of the Salt and Light Ventures. Similarly, they do trainings, okay? And he is a corporate trainer and executive coach. More than that, he is a good friend of ours, okay? He is a good friend of mine, of our family. He is one of my mentors. I've known this guy for a long time, more than a decade, and he's one of the leaders that I look up to. So part of me is his influence. So I'm happy to introduce to you he's also a book author, by the way. He's a book author. I saw his first book. Okay, he wrote it. Di pa siya kasal. Tapos and then when he got married to his wife. Okay, and then he wrote a book, I think, few years ago. Okay, second book. But he is also not only an author, okay, one of the leadership speakers. Allow me to introduce this afternoon. Let us give a round of applause to Mr. Boris Joaquin. Sir Boris, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Kailangan, ayusin ko lang yan. Hey, Luis.
So, Sir Boris, na-introduce na kita at sabi ko, ikaw ang isa sa aking mga mentors at aking mga tinitingala. Okay? So, so
Although mas matangkad ka sa akin, so hindi mo matitingala. So, it's the other way around. Nakagano ako.
But when I visit Sir Boris sa bahay nila, he prepares me good coffee. So magaling po siya magtimpla ng kape together with his wife, si Ate Michelle. So, Sir Boris, I will entrust to you the virtual stage. So take it away, sir.
Thank you, Luis. It's really good to see you. It's been a long time since I saw you. Actually, the last time I saw you was I guess a year ago, more than a year ago. And imagine it's natin pagkikita is virtually of all places. But thank you for having me in this wonderful program that you have. And I know that the entire effort is to actually build and raise for your advocacy. And that's really a noteworthy cause. And I remember when we started pivoting also digitally, we also said that one of the things that we needed to do is be able to express what we do and what we do best. But at the same time, we also want to help. And during the time, we were helping save the children, so it became an advocacy for us. As it's almost the same. I think we were also calling it breakthrough. Breakthrough the crisis. I think that was the term that we have, and we were trying to help less fortunate individuals and communities to also do the same thing. I don't know what Luis said earlier. I was in the waiting room, literally waiting. I was reflecting and I was quiet. But I was supposed to talk about change, and that's really a very popular topic nowadays. Especially for me as a public speaker and as a trainer, we've been talking about change in so many ways, and when we talk about change, it's really something that is not unique to this crisis. Although I must admit, it really heightened um, the 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 COVID-19, the coronavirus really fast track. It really amplified a lot of the things that were happening, like migration to the digital platform, going virtual, e-commerce, and everything. Uh, Not polluting the environment, not condensing the workplaces, uh, telecommuting. I think all of those things were already been in discussion, except that we were forced into it because of the crisis. And I'm not about to diminish the effects of that, because right now the changes that are happening are not only organizational or operational, but also physiological and it's also affecting our well-being. So I just want to ask you, how are you responding or reacting to today's changes? I mean, with you, a lot of you went back to work, a lot of you lost your work, and I deeply empathize with that. And I know how it feels, because even if I'm a variable income earner and I'm a businessman, I was affected tremendously, drastically by these things. So I think one of the first things that I would like to ask our viewers, our um, Facebook viewers, if you're watching on Vertical Parallel page or on my personal page, the Boris Joaquin page, I want you to listen intently, and I want you to take down notes, and I want to interact with you. So if you have comments down below, and please post it, ask away, and hopefully we can have time to interact with you. But I want to really ask how you are right now. I want to heart you. I want to feel what your reactions are during this pandemic and all the changes that this pandemic is bringing towards us. And one of the things that I've learned with Lead Like Jesus and my transactions with the Ken Blanchard group is that people respond to change in different levels, in different ways, because change is hard to begin with, right? Change is really hard. And it really begins with us reacting to it. And there are four categories that I want to describe our reactions towards change. The first one is, a lot of us, we tend to feel alone. We tend to feel alone when we're going through change. Loneliness is a legitimate emotion. And my mother-in-law and my parents, they're senior citizens, And the first thing that they go through in this crisis is being left alone in the house. And as much as we want to go there and spend time with them, we can't. It's really difficult. It's not just for us, but also for their own safety and well-being. We want to protect them. My mother articulated at one point over the phone. She said that she doesn't have any problem. She's not afraid to die. She's not afraid to embrace, to accept her situation if ever she gets affected. But she's only downcasted or deeply affected by the fact that if ever she dies, she would die alone. And I feel that. I empathize with that. So this is a legitimate emotion that a lot of us are feeling. And if there are two types of personalities like extrovert and introvert, sino sa palagay niyo mas affected by this crisis? I'm gonna answer it for you kagad. It's the extroverts. Kasi tayong mga extroverts, sanay tayo in socializing. And I missed that. I just had a half-day workshop this morning. Pero sabi ko sa isang participant, I still miss the face-to-face. Parang, I still miss that and being able to interact with people. And, so it's a legitimate feeling, even for teenagers, being alone. The second type of emotion is a huge reaction towards change. And again, it's legitimate. We should not dismiss it, or we should not sweep it under the rug. It's something that we are all going through, and that's being anxious. Okay, when we are going through a crisis or some changes, anxiety strikes us. It's one of the common manifestations of dealing with changes. I've been a change management consultant for the longest time, and I think one of the things that we deal with, individuals, people across different levels in the organization, is how to deal with their anxiety, their feeling of being anxious. And people can be anxious of a lot of things. One source of being anxious is the lack of resources. We go through change, we give them additional jobs or additional tasks, but then they don't have enough resources. I mean, kulang-kulang yung kanilang tools of the trade, and that's going to be difficult. Another level of anxiety could come from the fact that they're not competent enough, forcing people to go to try digital means, like doing this. For some people, it can be stressful. This is my third Zoom engagement for the day, and honestly, I'm stressed. So what more for somebody who's not extroverted and not used to speaking to a camera? So this is a legitimate emotion. And then probably the third reason for being anxious is some people might actually think that they had enough. This pandemic has brought us so many changes, the ECQ, the general community quarantine. Parang ano pa ba? What else is going to happen what else is going to happen to our country and to humanity and to the work that I'm doing? I'm deeply bothered and stressed out by so many layers of change, because not many of us can handle too much change, right? And then the third type of reaction is this. It's also, if you notice, lahat sila a letter A, and this one is being awkward. Okay, and any one of you who's awkward at any point, I know I was awkward using platforms like this. I'm okay with Zoom. Nung na-master ko siya, I have to master WebEx. There's no problem with WebEx. Zoom and WebEx are almost the same. I had difficulty with MS Teams. All my gadgets kasi are Apple branded or Apple products, and they're somehow not compatible. My love-hate relationship, yung Microsoft Teams Apple products, and I was so stressed out, and I was awkward in using it, and there are other platforms like Blackboard, and so I have to adjust the platforms that my client would like me to use. And every time I do that, I'm not a tech savvy person. I'm very awkward, even in doing this. I mean, whenever I do my videos, it's always somebody else who's helping me put it together. There's a younger person who's editing it. Now since I'm isolated and I'm stuck to myself in the house, I have to get out of my comfort zone and do all of this. There's a lot of awkwardness there, and you might be feeling awkward one way or another. And the fourth emotion is what we call being ambivalent. Ambivalence. What does ambivalent mean? If you're ambivalent, you decide not to do anything about it. And parang you stay neutral. Parang, okay, there's this issue about the government and a certain network. There's this issue about a bill. I will remain neutral. Maganda, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's good to be neutral, but sometimes that leads to to not caring or numbing your mind and your heart. And when you numb your mind and your heart, you become disconnected. As it is, we're socially disconnected, and I wonder how much disconnection will allow ourselves to get into just because we choose to be numb about things. So remember all of those emotions if you can, and I want you to comment on the comment thread below. Tell me if you feel alone. I hope not. Tell me if you are feeling anxious. I hope not as well, but we can't really help this. Tell me if you're feeling awkward. All right. And tell me if you're feeling ambivalent. So these are legitimate emotional reactions that we all have when we're going through a crisis or we're going through a change. I must admit that personally, when it was announced, the first thing that I thought of is, oh no, we're going to postpone a lot of our public engagements. And eventually it's not just a postponement, it's actually a cancellation. And I know that our income will take a nosedive, and I was anxious. I was anxious. I was like depressed. I was stressed out on what's going to happen. How do I keep my company afloat, my business afloat? All my plans just literally went down the drain, whether strategic plan, tactical plan, maski yung ibang digital and then video-driven plans that I have, kahit leche plan, wala nang plan. Oh, the, uh, everything that man has planned did not prevail. I mean, and I really got comfort, and God reminded me of why I'm doing what I'm doing. But even if I got back on my feet, I was awkward. I was really awkward, to say the least, and I was ambivalent about a lot of things. So I was playing neutral, and then only then did I get to recover. Change is a very, it's a very uncomfortable place to be in. So I drew something here, so I want to show it to you. I hope it's clear. Parang ganito yung depiction ng change. Eh. It's like going through a particular pit. Did you see that? Parang so this is you, and then you have to go through change. Hindi siya straightforward. Eh. It goes down into a hollow and deep. It's a deep dive. Kaya minsan people go through some depressive state. But the beautiful thing about change, if you notice there, if you follow the track, it actually transforms you from the old to the new, right? But before that can happen, you really have to go deep down uh, the dirt. You really have to go deep down the mud, or go deep down into whatever situation you may be in. And change is not necessarily comfortable, even the slightest or the smallest type of change, right? So it's simple activities like if you clasp your hands together, like what I'm doing right now. So you try it if you're watching. Clasp your hands together. And then normally there's one thumb that actually goes on top of the other thumb, right? In my case, it's my left thumb going on top of my right thumb. And that's my default. That's my natural tendencies. If somebody tells me that my right thumb should be on my left thumb, and I'll say, okay. But then when I do it, it takes a lot of consciousness to actually remind myself that this should not be on top. This should be on top. So medyo may awkwardness, right? It takes a lot of awareness, and that's the reason why I asked you about your emotional state right now, whatever change you're going through, because legitimate na concern yan, mga kaibigan. It's a legitimate concern because I need you to be mindful. I need you to be aware. Yeah? I need you to be mindful of your emotional reactions, and I want you to use that to be able to bounce back from the situation that you are in right now, whether your business is losing financial cash flow, whether you lost your job, whether your life and your family and your loved ones are threatened by this, their health is threatened by this virus, and you're trying to survive. So the question that we have right now is, so how do we manage to change? And what I'm going to share to you is came from years of doing change management. Again, change is not unique to the crisis. There are many changes that happens in organizations, in nations, in markets, in competitive situations, and we just need to apply some of those principles even in the most trying time that we are having today. What I'm going to give you are three change strategies or change management strategies that you can use, whether it's in your business or whether in your personal life. The first, and everything starts with the letter P, so just for you to remember it easily. So the first one talks about you being grounded on your purpose. So the first strategy is you need to be purposeful. Okay, now this might sound right, or you might feel, oh, Boris, oh, ulit-ulit na lang, purpose. But purpose is very important. You know why? Because it actually grounds you in what you're doing. If your goal in your business, for example, is for profit, there's nothing else for you to hold on to if you're losing money at this point, right? I told you when the crisis started, when we were quarantined, I was extremely bothered by the potential loss of income. And admittedly, I'm smiling. I'm just smiling right now. The last 3 months was really catastrophic for us. I mean, it really affected the way we earn as a family, and we need to make a lot of adjustments on that. But even when I was in the middle of my depression, God reminded me that parang sabi ni God, ano bang problema mo? Something like, inaano ba kita, Boris? The crisis is true, it's happening, but it should not stop you from fulfilling your purpose. And then God reminded me, what's your purpose? And then I remember that my purpose is to use my energy and people skills to teach and motivate others to discover their destinations and enjoy their life journeys. So I'm a teacher, I'm an educator. So it didn't stop me from doing what I'm doing. Of course, I wasn't earning at that time, but I enjoyed doing Facebook Live. And like what I told you, we did something for Save the Children. And I said yes to Jen when she invited me to do this, because this is exactly where my purpose is aligned with. And I don't mind doing this. It's a message that I've been sharing to other people nonetheless. So it's still something that is very, very relevant to me. Now, DDI came up with a research study in 2018 that says that purpose-driven companies outperform other companies by 45%. And there are companies that are not purposeful, and then eventually they collapse. And then there's a book by I forgot the name of the guy, Good to Great, and I think Collins is his last name. And basically, he said there that companies that are driven by their hedgehog principle or by their purpose, by their vision, tends to outlast other organizations. And they look at NGOs as good examples of outlasting and outliving commercially led organizations. So we need to know our purpose. When I was dealing with the tourism board, I was talking to a lot of tourism, leisure and resort companies, and I know it's really down for them. The business is really down, but some of them actually reflected on this basic idea of what's my purpose got to do with it. And somebody said my purpose is to bring happiness to families. I wanna bring joy into their homes, and that's why I built this hotel. And of course, he can't open his hotel. And even if he was allowed to open his hotel, he can only like open 50% of the rooms. Yeah, and that was really difficult because that's not entirely income generating for him. But sabi niya, he decided to close everything. He released his employees. Sabi niya, I will try to bounce back 6 months from now. But if I can't, you're free to join whatever, wherever you want to go. Of course, they're jobless for the next 6 months. But he pivoted by keeping his bakery or bakery work still still operating, and in their province that bakery is quite famous, and he started delivering pastries, cakes, and he's still fulfilling his purpose. For the meantime, it's not earning as big as the hotel, but he managed to continue nonetheless. So what I need to tell you are the two other strategies which are really connected to purpose. So the first one, you need to remember that you need to you need to focus on your purpose. And then the second one is what we call prioritize. Okay, this third strategy is something that I need you to remember, because this strategy refers to you prioritizing, choosing what do you need to do exactly, right? Choosing what you need to be doing in terms of your business. Because there comes a point that you just have to choose what exactly do you need to do, right? Ano ba talaga yung mga dapat mong gawin? Ano yung kailangan mong i-prioritize? Ano yung mga kailangan mong gawin, right? So when you prioritize the things that you needed to do, the first question that you have to ask is this: what adds value to your business or to your profession? What contributes more? What makes an impact? So what you try to do is you weigh the value altogether. Ano yung mas what contributes to that to that purpose that you have, or to that business goal that you have. So it's impact versus visibility. So tandaan niyo yan, impact versus visibility. Impact states that it's something that contributes directly to your business. Visibility refers to what's possible, what's more certain, what's more realistic. So sukatin mo yan. There are some things that are high impact pero hindi siya visible. At this point, hindi siya posible. So maybe you need to do more research about it, and check out gather more information, or build up your capital. Meron namang iba na high visible pero low impact. Ano yung sabihin nun? They're part of your workload. You do it regularly, and you feel satisfied that you get to achieve a lot of things because ang dami mo nagawa, parang to-do list. Pero ang baba ng impact niya sa business mo or sa profession mo. So maybe you can delegate that or let somebody else do that. Ako, for example, bookkeeping and accounting, that's not really something that would directly impact. Indirectly, it would. It's a back end of my business. So I would rather delegate it or assign an accountant to do that for me. And other examples to that matter. It's not saying that it's not important. It's just saying that I would rather focus my time on things that would have a direct contribution to what I'm doing and to what my purpose is. Of course, you want something that's high impact and high feasible. And for example, this digital platform, webinars are high impact and high feasible at this point. Internet is almost, well, it's not free, but it's there, it's available. So I want to put my efforts in doing this more. I've been getting booked for a lot of virtual events. I've been trying to do virtual classrooms, virtual coaching, virtual trainings and workshops, and then virtual conferences, iba pa yung webinars. So right now, I think we pivoted very well there, right? And then, so you really just have to weigh things. And when you have a team, you gather them and you ask them, how do we prioritize all these things that we're doing? What do we think are very important to what we're doing, what we have at present? I know a lot of business owners who've done the same thing. They re-strategize. Again, tapon lahat ng plano. Maybe we need to have a new strategy. We need to reset, revision, and recalibrate. And we're half through the year. Pwede pang bawiin to the rest of 2020. Let's recast our vision for the year. And once you have, after you prioritize, I think what you need to do now is what I call being proactive. Yay, okay, proactivity. Two words yan, active and pro. Ibig sabihin, you are go, go, go. Parang kahit ano mangyari, you pursue the things that you know, that you've already set your minds, that you know that would really help your business or your purpose. And there's two things that I need you to remember when it comes to I'm sorry about that. When it comes to nahulog ang aking cue cards. When it comes to to actually being proactive, when the first one is persevering. So once you've decided what you want to be proactive on, na alam mo na kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin, you have to persevere. Parang just proceed in making things happen. Go and get it. Try and try. Try ng try hanggang sa umaray. Just go lang ng go. And then if it doesn't work out, but you know that even though it doesn't work out, it's still something that's important to you. What you do is you don't give up. And the word for that is you pivot. Right now, medyo uso tong word na to. Everybody keeps using it. It's a trendy word. Hashtag pivot. Ano yung sabi ng pivot? If you try it, it doesn't succeed, pull it back, revise, and then try it again. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng pivot. So again, when we say you pivot, you try something, it doesn't succeed, you pull it back, you revise it, you try it again. So that's what we mean by pivot. So you persevere and you pivot. Those are the two key sub-strategies, all right, under being proactive. And I like the word being proactive because proactivity has a lot of fruitfulness in this compared to productivity. I mean, you can be productive, right? You can produce a lot of things. Pero may saysay ba to sa ginagawa mo, sa purpose mo, sa business mo, sa profession mo, sa dream goals mo, sa ambition mo. Diba? Minsan, you're just productive for the sake of being productive. You need to be proactive. You need to pursue the things that really matter, right? Sabi nga namin sa project purpose, life is too short to lack purpose, but it's also too long to be directionless. Di ba? Parang, if we don't want to waste our time, essentially. And once we know what we're here for, what on earth am I here for? Once we know what our purposes are, it's easier to recalibrate what we're doing. We may be challenged with our resources. We might be challenged by the source of income, but we can easily pivot and persevere on the things that really matter as long as we can prioritize and know which ones will really add value to what we're doing. Because if we're going to be honest to ourselves, pre-crisis situation, bago mag-crisis, ang dami rin naman natin ginagawa na frivolous. Marami rin tayong ginagawa na baka trivial o hindi ganun ka-consistent sa goal natin. One of the things that I've learned this past 3 months is I was able to re-engineer what I am doing, what am I here for, and I decided to focus on the things that really are consistently of value to the calling that God has given me. One thing that gave me so much comfort is the verse. Oh shucks, I can't remember it. But the verse says, "We will have perfect peace for those who remain, who put their trust in Him, and who are steadfast in mind." So, essentially, dalawa yung point doon. I think what the Bible was saying is that if we put our trust in God, right, and that's a heart issue, and our minds are steadfast. And when it says steadfast, ano yung ibig sabihin ng steadfast? Ibig sabihin ng steadfast is that you are proactively pursuing something. You are relentlessly pursuing something. Hindi ka madaling matinag, hindi ka madaling bumigay. And when you're steadfast, you're focused. Therefore, you prioritize and you remove the distractions and the distractions and the clutter around you, and you're single-minded and you're focused, just like what the apostle Paul said, when you're running the race, you're just focused on the prize. And that's what steadfastness is. So if you have a steadfast mind, and that's what you heard from me right now, combine it with a trusting heart, a heart that trusts a sovereign God who is the author of all the changes that's been happening in this world, in your life and mine, then He will grant us perfect peace. And that's all we need naman at this point. Whether you lost your job, whether you're losing income, whether you're and I'm not diminishing the intensity of this. if you lost loved ones and friends, and I do empathize with you, somehow, for some reason, in some way, God will give you the calmness that comes from Christ, and you will be at peace in the midst of the storm that we are all experiencing right now. I mean, Rick Warren said, we're all in different boats. I mean, for some people they're riding a yacht. For some people they're riding literally a very simple bangka. But we're all experiencing the same storm. And if we have that perfect peace that comes from Christ himself, that he himself went through crisis and he was calm in all of that, trusting that God, his Father, will never leave him nor forsake him. And he never did. He was actually lifted up. He overcame death, and he was lifted up from those adversities, and he rose above and literally reigned as the only king that was able to overcome. And that's why we need to follow him, because through him, as we put our trust in him, we get to overcome all of these things. But be mindful of the steadfastness that you've learned also from me this afternoon. And I hope particular those particular tips will be helpful and useful as you go through whatever changes you're going through in your life right now. I wish you the best, and I wish that you would be overcomers as well of whatever adversities, obstacles, and challenges you're currently facing. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Boris. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and insight. So, syempre, salamat rin po sa inyong oras. Uh, sige, hinga ko muna, kuya.
Sige, okay.
Alright. So we have, gusto ko lang batiin yung people from joining us from, Jakarta, Indonesia.
Wow,
We have
okay.
from Bulacan, we have from Davao. Okay, we have people from North. Okay. Salamat po. Yan, mayroon po San Pedro Laguna. Yan, sinusulat po. Okay. Marinduque, Nueva Ecija. Thank you for joining us.
Wow.
Yan. Okay, so Sir Boris, meron akong may mga nag-send lang ng questions to the personal PM, okay? Sige, nakahinga na ba si Sir Boris?
Go ahead, okay lang.
Okay. First question, okay, nabigay na to ni Sir Boris. But question from Adrian. Okay, how can company leaders like managers and supervisors lead people to productivity in this time? Baka meron po kayong parang specific.
Well, primarily I think yung siguro maganda lang i-specify. Familiar kayo dun sa Maslow hierarchy of needs? Sayang wala akong visual nun, but it's a triangle, and at the bottom of that, nakalagay doon yung mga physiological needs, di ba? Yung food, physical needs, clothing, blah, blah, blah. Safety is part of that. So physiological needs yun. So how do you lead your people to productivity? I always say that you go back to the basic. I think you should be able to provide. That's another letter P. And people is a letter P, di ba? Parang prioritize natin yung mga tao, provide for them. Kasi di ba, Luis, if you don't provide for people, parang how will they even work, di ba? How will they even be productive? So medyo challenge yan to a lot of businesses. And I guess, and I'm not about to judge people or businesses who retrench their people altogether, because legitimate naman talaga. We should be able to provide. If we make them go to work, we should be able to assure them that they're safe. So kung walang assurance that everything's intact on the foundation, yung productivity, yung kanilang self-actualization, yung kanilang belongingness, yung kanilang sense of purpose, and being able to march to a mission, those are not visible at all. So again, yung sinabi ko na impact versus visibility. So katin nyo muna kung ano yung mas importante at this point. And I think the first thing that you need to understand, and your business owners and your employers, how do we provide and ensure people that they're safe, that their salaries will not be late, blah, 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 and all those basic necessities before you can even challenge them to be productive. Because I think it automatically follows it. There's a high level of gratitude from people who feels that their employers have provided well for them.
Thank you, Sir Boris. Okay, meron, sorry, nga maraming pumapasok na questions. But, okay, before I read the next question, okay, like we always mention, this will be, hindi po namin siya buburahin. It will be posted in our page. Similarly, we'll upload it in YouTube. So, dun po sa mga teachers natin at saka yung mga taga-groups natin who wanted to watch with the video of Sir Boris or yung mga tinuro niya ngayon, you can still watch it. Okay, we'll publish it later. So next question, Sir Boris. Ang question nila dito is, we are experiencing in the company emotional struggles. What can I contribute or say about this?
All right. If you were listening to me kanina, I did say that emotional reactions are valid. So I think we should really address them. I think the first step is really acknowledging them. So awareness is always the first step. So just like what I did kanina, I think the first step that we should do is acknowledge what are those emotions. Wag natin siyang i-dismiss. Wag natin siyang ibaliwala. So take note of them, listen to them. I need you to understand that we separate the listening from the doing. A lot of people kasi, especially employers and business leaders, feeling nila dahil nakinig sila, they need to do something about it. That's not necessarily so. Psychologically speaking, iba yung impact ng listening, period. Iba yung impact ng doing something separately, period. Okay? So, even if wala kang magawa, even if you don't know what to do yet, I just suggest you start listening. You start opening up your parang town hall meetings or one-on-one coaching or kung gusto mo counseling, since it's quite emotional, just listen to them and take note of it. And then later on, wag mo naman din, no, after listening, okay, tapos na. Okay, hindi man din ganun. Just listen to it and then you keep it to heart and then you discuss it, and hopefully you come up with solutions for that. And sometimes yung emotional problem ng ilang tao are similar to the emotional problem of some. And then pagsamahin niyo sila, come up with a solution and then come back to them if you have a solution already that maybe you can offer. And some of them are solutions that are not necessarily costly, right? Sometimes advice lang yon, or sometimes. And if you think you're not equipped to handle some emotional struggles, and I guess dun papasok yung mga specialists. Like I'm good in coaching. I really can help in coaching. But if you need counseling, you need somebody who can help with the emotional, and then the physiological stress in the workplace, the psychological stress in the workplace, and iba pa rin yung mga counselors from that, and they can actually parang help out in that area. If kung yung level ng emotional reactions are nandun na, medyo kailangan na ng intervention ng isang specialista.
Thank you, Sir Boris. Salamat. Okay, so yan na. It's tips actually. These are actual tips that you can apply. So before we proceed dun sa third questions natin, before we proceed dun sa third question, how can they Sir Boris, how can they catch you if they wanted to get to know you more? Saan nila kayo pwedeng puntahan?
Well, this is also being aired dun sa Facebook page. In social media, I think you can just track me in social media. I mean, just type my name. Pag mali yung spelling, of course, you get the wrong. But it's Boris Joaquin, so it's Boris Joaquin, and you'll find it in social media. I also have a website. You can also follow me on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I basically respond to everybody. So just medyo may delay lang for some I'm busy. But if you message me at any of those platforms, most likely I do answer.
Okay, thank you. And going to the last question. Kasi medyo hinuli ko lang to, but it's a question from the teacher. They're asking, what else can I help my student to encourage them I think waste to, no? Okay, sabi ng segment producer namin. Okay, waste daw po. Teacher, that question coming from the teacher, tinatanong po niya, how can I help my students or encourage them? I think probably because sorry, bigyan ko lang ng background. We've met with the teachers recently because
Yeah.
part of the teaching method would be online. So they really are researching kung ano yung best way to really connect dun sa mga students, especially they're online. So meron ka bang Sir Boris, meron bang any tips or any encouragement to the teachers?
Okay. Well, yeah, tama-tama. This morning lang, I just did something on parang how do you use certain psychology in the e-learning platform. And I really suggest to the teachers, if you have a strong sense of empathy, madali na yon. Believe me. Pero unfortunately, hindi lahat ng teachers malakas ang empathy. And when I say empathy, is that you always prioritize your students. As a teacher myself, although corporate nga ang aking background, I have this principle na learner-centric. We always prioritize the learners. So I always give this advice. You really need to understand that kung saan nanggagaling yung mga estudyante nyo, and you need to adjust your tools based on their learning styles. And you probably learned this at some point. May nagturo sa inyo na mga, what are the learning styles of students and all that. So I guess you need to adjust and really get yourself accustomed to how do you teach, let's say, how do you, for example, and I'm doing it wrong all the time, when you're teaching on a camera, di ba, eye contact, pag face-to-face eye contact, pero wala nga tayong face-to-face, di ba? Ang pinaka-eye contact mo na to is to look at the camera. Or look at the camera. And then ako kasi may tendency ako, I look at the screen, I look at here, I look at Luis. But when you look at the camera, and then students look at your video, it will look like you're looking at them, di ba? And that's very important. And of course, learning tools, the four most important things that I learned about teaching, I learned in Sunday school. And what's that? Yun yung hook, book, look, took. So pag nagtuturo ka, make sure that it's engaging. Kailangan meron kang hook. Kailangan, of course, galing sa book. Kailangan meron siyang look. Meron kayong conceptualization and how the written word can come to life. And yung took, it's ano yung takeaway niya. So in every lesson, I guess you should really apply that. And the best teachers that I know, virtual or live, has that strong sense of empathy. They're very learner-centric. And then second is they just don't teach a program. They follow a pathway. So di ba meron tayong progression? Kaya ka nagtuturo kasi you want your kids to learn from you want them to change from A to B. So related pa rin sa topic natin na change. So yung goal mo is to teach them algebra. So how will they learn algebra? Diba? So kailangan siyang pathway or progressive, not program-based. Don't teach what's in the textbook. Use the textbook as a reference. Remember, hook, book, look, took. Book is only one of the four. You try to design other ways to hook them, to make them look, and to make them actually take it away. Do you follow what I'm saying? Mahaba yan, isang workshop yan altogether. Pero yun, participant-driven, learner-centric, and then second, hindi siya program-based, kailangan pathway. You need to know where you're headed when you're teaching something to your children.
Wow. Okay. So, ilang minuto lang yan, no? But tips sa mga teachers, so please take note of that. Something na yun. Okay. So, meron ng extra tips na binigay si Sir Boris. So, thank you, Sir Boris, for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Especially thank you for your heart. Kaya hindi ko po nakasama si Sir Boris sa list or sa roster ko prior. But because you're doing the save for the children, sabi ko, sige, pagkatapos na lang nung campaign na yun, ako naman ang hiram ng oras ni Sir Boris. But thank you, Sir Boris, for your time. We appreciate especially your heart together with Ate Michelle. Okay? I think next time we'll have you, sabi ko nga, ang topic siguro yung yung old book mo, yung to date or not to date, di ba?
It's even out of print.
But the principles are still the same. So ika nga. So as I end, thank you, Sir Boris, for we're grateful for your time. Sir Boris, pwede ko bang hingian ng can you invite them to support our Burden to Breakthrough campaign?
Sure, sure. Luis and Jen, I've known them for quite a long time, and I know that their heart is always in the right place, regardless of whatever they're doing. So this advocacy that they have is Burden to Breakthrough. It's definitely in the right place. So if you're wanting to help an advocacy, a program, a fundraising that you know won't be wasting your money or won't be using it for whatever hanky panky, you can trust this couple to do exactly that. They'll be good stewards of your donation. So I would like to encourage you to donate and help them raise the funds that they need to raise in order to help frontliners, right, or medical practitioners in the things that they need, and the supplies, the PPEs, and the masks, and anything that would protect them. They're the heroes. They're our heroes during this pandemic season. So we must do whatever we can to also make sure that they're safe and protected.
Thank you, Sir Boris. Gusto ko yung sinabi that we make sure that they are safe and protected. That's why we are really pushing with the swab booths. These swab booths will be basically coordinated. We deliver the swab booths with the Amang Rodriguez Memorial Center. So meron na po sila doon. We sent them those swab booths na magagamit po. They're actually grateful and thankful that we have provided those swab booths. So we are continuing this. That's why yung part naging episode na, no. So Sir Boris, I'll just put you in waiting room as I do the announcement and close the event. Okay lang po ba?
Okay, goodbye everybody. God bless.
Okay, so as we end, guys, thank you for your time. I appreciate your not only your time but your heart in learning. And if this has been helpful, I hope you support our Burden to Breakthrough campaign. We will continue. Gaya po na sabi ko kanina, no, we started this as a part series lang. No? Eventually, we are moving it as parang episode because there are people similarly with the speakers, gaya ni Sir Boris, who would take time and they're giving themselves. This is free. They give us free. Okay, libre po yung trainings na binibigay nila and yung oras nila. So I hope this has been helpful, the learning, especially. I hope you took note of this. If you do have questions, please PM us. Okay, kindly do the questions or on the comment or on the comment space below. Also, please tulungan niyo naman po kami. Aside from sharing the Burden to Breakthrough campaign, also please do rate us. Okay, tulungan. Hayaan niyo naman po hingin namin ng iyong rekomendasyon. So visit our page, Vertical Parallel Asia. Click on the review and do a recommendation. Before it was a star, but ngayon hindi na siya star. So please do a word or parang a sentence or recommendation. So to those who would be sending us good words and encouraging words, salamat po. We are motivated and encouraged by those words that you're sending us. So any more? Okay. Thank you also to our nasabi ko na, to our previous speakers joining us, and to the topics that we'll be having this coming the next series, July 9. Okay, July 9. Okay, we will have Mr. Joel Elio. Okay, so talks about, papakita ko na lang para hindi ko nahahanapin. I-share ko na lang. Okay. Ayan. Manage on July 9, 2020. Nagbago lang po tayo time slot natin. 6 p.m. Managing Stress to cope up with the crisis. And also, please do support our local brands, our help. The reason why we're putting this, ayan po. We have master classes, okay, that please stay tuned. Okay, visit our page, Vertical Parallel Asia, to know more about our master classes. And please support our local brands and our mga, actually part po sila ng team namin, but this time because of the pandemic, okay, they're looking for ways. Please visit Splat Manila. Okay, yan po ang isa sa aming mga aming mga kaibigan, okay, who's also been helping us. And okay, a no-dull moment, nagkamali ako ng slide. No-dull moment, okay, please join Mr. Jason Law on July 10, 7:30 p.m. To register, click the QR code. And okay, this bago po yan. And another partner of us, Valencianos, okay, they're helping us mount our events and yung sa mga mga help na kailangan namin. So thank you, Kyle, for joining. All right, any more? Okay, wala na pala, no? So okay, so once again, salamat po. I can see your heart, those people who have been joining us from the previous parts. Salamat po. Please do share, host a watch party so that people can be help. This could help other people learn. And click like, click heart. Okay, every day nga pala we post encouraging posters so you can share it with your friends. Let's continue encouraging others gaya po ng sabi ni Sir Boris. Okay, let's continue not only encouraging others but also praying for others. Gaya po as I end and before I pray, okay, like I've said, this morning I've read, sabi doon, sabi in the Bible, no? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. For by me your days will be numbered, and years will be added to your life. So I know that we fear God, but we know that He is sovereign over this pandemic. So if you are if you're losing hope, take heart, okay? Because God is sovereign, and He will make us triumph in whatever circumstances we are in. So let us close in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this time together that people who are watching today, I pray that you not only bless them, but encourage them. They may be, I don't know their situation right now, but I know that you have a heart who takes care of your children. We thank you that you are sovereign, not only in this season, but also in this pandemic. We know that you are powerful. We pray for our leaders. We pray for the people who are in the government. We pray for our offices. Continue to sustain us. Continue to uphold us. We thank you for your grace. We commit to you this afternoon. We thank you for these people who are watching. In Jesus' name, amen. So anyway, guys, we thank you. We love you from the vertical parallel. Okay, thank you from our team. Okay, we have Miss Laika Belaos, Paul Mendoza, Miko Medel. Okay, Christian Tomas, Rod Bilolo, Jenny Ignacio, Magalo. Okay, thank you everyone. We'll see you on next one. Bye-bye.